So I just did a video on Conor McGregor being ordered to pay Nikita Hand's legal fees. I lost my mind in that video, so we're gonna move on to this topic over here. Dana White responds to a lucrative deal for John Jones versus Francis Ngannou. We're gonna go through this article. I'm gonna tell you why I truly believe that he does not count out this fight happening, and especially if the Saudis are willing to put up the money for this fight will happen. Dana would be stupid, and TKO would probably fire him if he turned down this deal. Probably not fire him, but let's read it before we begin. If you like the content, subscribe. You guys have been killing it lately with the love and support. Thank you guys. Alright. Dana White responds to lucrative John Jones versus Francis Ngannou fight offer. John Jones versus Francis Ngannou is a monumental fight that will have the entire combat world invested, but only Dana White has the power to make it happen. Despite it arguably being the biggest fight in MMA history, Dana White isn't interested in booking a John Jones versus Francis Ngannou matchup anytime soon. After leaving the promotion for greener pastures, Ngannou has been in the UFC's bad books, and it seems a working relationship between the two is unrepairable. Now turning out for the PFL, the Predator continued his dominance inside the cage, last time with a first-round knockout, inciting an offer from Saudi Arabia's Turkey Al-Sheikh, if I'm saying that correctly. Al-Sheikh believes he has resources to make John Jones versus Francis Ngannou happen, and is willing to make a significant offer to secure the deal. I have on the table two options for Francis. Al-Sheikh told Al-Hawani. One is MMA and one in boxing. I want to discuss them. In MMA, you know, all the time my answer is the all time we want to do with the biggest events. It's against John Jones. We need to send Dana White to the moon. Since Turkey Al-Sheikh comments, fans have been eagerly anticipating a response from Dana White. Even with the excitement being high, White has shown no intent of making the fight happen. According to the UFC CEO, if John Jones wishes to fight again, it will be against Tom Aspinall and nobody else. The Jones versus Ngannou rumors are absolutely not true, White said in a response to Instagram. John versus Tom. Now, I want to point this out. He's focusing on this fight, right? We all want to see John Jones versus Tom Aspinall. Dana White is very clear that's the only fight that John Jones will get, and even though he's threatening retirement, I don't think he wants to give up the belt, even though he said he would. I doubt it. I really believe that John Jones would like to beat Stipe's record for most title defenses at heavyweight. Then that would solidify him as the greatest of all time, without a doubt. I feel like if he beats Tom Aspinall and Francis Ngannou, as well as two more, no, I guess he only needs three, right? Because Stipe's record is three. Yeah, so after Arsenal, he would need two fights to break the record. John Jones believes he solidified himself as the best heavyweight in the world following his win over Stipe last time out. After the vintage John Jones performance, Francis reignited his interest in the super fight, running back a fight that was rumored years prior. Remember how Dana White said that John Jones was ducking Tom Aspinall and he didn't want to fight him? Kind of true. I mean, I'm a big John Jones fan. He did wait until Francis left the company, and he did pick probably the two easiest fights at heavyweight he could have had. But as long as Tom Aspinall remains the interim heavyweight king, it seems Dana White is interested in no matchup for John, no other matchup for Bones. Um, check what Turkey or all right. Let's see what he said.
Let me ask you about Daniel Dubois.
Come on. Let me make sure. Uh, go. Yeah, that. Alright. So.
Dubois versus Joseph Parker, if I may, there was some talk of maybe doing Dubois against AJ2 on this card. Ultimately, why did it end up?
AJ is injured.
He's injured.
Yeah, and he cannot fight before maybe May. And I want Dubois to take chance. And let's see. Also, this is, I will speak honestly because I don't fear from
Please.
nothing. Uh, uh, the result of Tyson and Usyk, there is a lot of people waiting for. One of them is Dubois. There is also Joshua. And at the same time, there is third person. I am dreaming to see this fight, to give chance to, if he accept Klitschko, to get back and have a chance to be the oldest heavyweight champion ever.
Vladimir Klitschko.
Vladimir, yes.
Yes.
Vladimir,
That would be interesting. I would like to see Vladimir Klitschko go for another title. Again, I'm not that big of a boxing fan. However, I do like the older boxers. Whenever I do watch boxing, because I refuse to watch boxing events now, I might watch Fury Usyk 2, but like, let's be honest here, boxing it's a going out of business, as Dana White says. I know boxing fans argue it's in a good spot. It's not. They only have a few marketable fighters, and the only way they can do big events are with Saudi Arabia. You look at the UFC, they do big events all over. MSG, we have International Fight Week. Of course, we do have Abu Dhabi, but we have multiple massive fights each year.
break the record of George Foreman.
He's
Give him the chance.
He's 48, turning 49 in late May, May 25th.
This is perfect.
Perfect. Wait, and he would fight who? Who would you want him to fight?
Dubois.
Of course, of course, if you're smart, yeah. But of course, he will not fight Usyk if he win, because two heroes from Ukraine will not fight each other. And
Okay, so he wants the Fury rematch. That's supposed to happen. That never happened.
this is the dream. Fury have a lot of people want him now in the line. This is the dream. Klitschko, all the people want to see it from 2015 again. And there is also Joshua, which will be the hugest Britain fight ever. And of course, Dubois deserve this chance. Let's see.
The heavyweight division is incredible right now. One name that hasn't been mentioned in the last maybe few weeks that I thought might have a chance of fighting Dubois or Zhang Okabiya was Martin Bakoli. Is there a reason that Martin isn't fighting?
Okay, I'm gonna see if I can find where he talks
Zhang or Cabiao, and those two are
else. You understand me? For that,
could
let's
this
keep it
then
like
be
this
a
way.
could this, and you don't have to answer at all, but could this be the one I've been talking about for a long time, a Riyadh season card in Africa?
Uh,
Okay, well, I cannot find it. I will read this article link down below. It's just, it's not worth wasting more of your time watching an entire clip. But you get the point. Um, Now, let's talk about why I think this fight absolutely will happen, given the Saudis and Turkish Ali, or however you say it, is putting up the money. Francis Ngannou versus John Jones is the biggest fight you can make right now. It's, you have the PFL champion, you have the UFC champion. I think the even bigger fight is Francis Ngannou versus Pereira. Both incredible stories, both, you know, came up from such traumatic lives. You know, Francis being a literal slave in the sand mines, um, fleeing to France multiple times, getting caught, and then you have Alex Pereira, who grew up in Brazil, worked at a mechanic shop, became an alcoholic at a very young age, and was able to become one of the most prolific athletes in combat sports history. Double glory champion, double UFC champion, fastest person to defend the title 3 times in any weight class. You know, that fight right there is massive. And again, I this is a business, right? The UFC is going to work in their interest. Dana White is working for the UFC's interest. You know, Markel Martin, as much as Dana White hates to admit it, Markel Martin might just be the greatest manager in MMA history. Like, who else, apart from Conor McGregor, will be able to go from relinquishing the heavyweight championship, being on top of the world, to 2 massive boxing fights, uh, 2 fight deal in PFL, 8 mil guaranteed on top of pay per view. Like, at the end of Francis Ngannou's PFL deal, if you take the boxing matches into account, he's making over 50 million before tax off of 4 fights. He would have never made that kind of money in the UFC. I really doubt. They were saying that they were gonna give him 8 mil for John Jones. That's what he's getting for 2 fights. And let's say John Jones beats him, he would probably go back down to 700K, and he wouldn't have any of the money he has. And most importantly, Francis Ngannou has transcended MMA because of it. He's in movies like Fast and Furious, He has other movie deals. He has other business opportunities. Again, too, like, I don't need to go through Francis's story, but this man has been through hell. You know, like, I wouldn't wish his life on my worst enemy. And obviously, with the tragic loss of his son, Kobe, you know, he came back and dominated a scarier opponent than John Jones. Renan Ferreira, what was he? 6'7", 6'8", 6'9", something around there. He dominated him in the first round. Like, if Dana White really sticks to his guns that he will never have Francis back. It's a shame. We already missed out on Anderson Silva versus GSP because he didn't want to get rid of one of his promotable champions. That's the honest truth. Back in the day, that was probably the biggest fight the UFC never made. You, you can maybe put Fedor versus Brock Lesnar up there, but I personally, like, you had two guys, both on dominant title runs. One at 170, one at 185. GSP wanted it, Anderson Silva wanted it, Dana White didn't want it. Fans, like, I'm telling you, like, there are a few fights that really irks me that we never got. That's one of them. But yeah, back to back to the Saudis getting involved now. There is no way TKO would let Dana White reject that kind of money. Like, I know you can't replace Dana White. There's no way, because you need to think about this too. It's not just Dana, Lorenzo, and blanking the Fertitos. It's not just Dana and the Fertitos. It's TKO, Ari, The Rock, who was on the board, the entire board of directors. They decide, right? And two, like I said, if we don't get this fight, then this is a major opportunity missed by Dana White. And ultimately, I feel like it would fall on him. That's what I got. Like I said in the beginning, go check out my video on Conor McGregor and the update to that. Fucking ridiculous, dude. Oh my god. Like, even thinking about it pisses me off. Let me know in the comments, what do you think about the Saudis getting involved in this situation? Personally, I think if the Saudis are gonna put up the money, they said that they would send Dana White to the moon. Whether that's literally, figuratively, there's no way TKO would let him reject that deal. But you let me know what you think. Leave a like, subscribe, all that stuff. Yeah, later.